Hi guys, Michael from SpineWise, and today I'm here to talk to you about 5 ways to get rid of Helicobacter pylori. Now, I suppose what is Helicobacter pylori? It's a bacteria that lives in the gut. It's part of our normal gut environment, but when it gets way ahead of itself, gets a bit driven, a bit egotistical. Now, if it actually gets a bit of dysbiosis in the gut, meaning an imbalance in that microbiome in the gut, particularly the stomach we're talking about, then it can proliferate. And when it gets out of control almost, then it's when it becomes a problem. So that's what we're talking about today, is Helicobacter pylori. What does it mean to you? It's not, if you've got a diagnosis of it, it means you've been tested somewhere and someone's identified it through a breath test or some other forms, a couple of different ways you can get it done, but you've been diagnosed with it. Other people may know it as purely as they get a combination of very generic symptoms. It could be a case of heartburn, could be just a case of pain, discomfort in the stomach, could be nausea, could be then modified bowel movements. There's a lot of different symptoms that cross a lot of boundaries here. It crosses over with reflux type symptoms, crosses across with small and bacterial overgrowth, talking about bloating, wind and all those things that go with it. So it can be just a combination of those symptoms, hard to maybe differentiate. It is one of those things, if you've been treated for something and you're not seeming to get any resolution, seems to be an ongoing problem, then maybe this is something you need to look into. But what we're going to talk about today really is how best to go about treating it. So first, I suppose, what does it do and why does it exist? So when it does get into a dominant state in your gut, what we do know for certain is it lives in a low acid environment. So either the low acid has come through dietary problems or other things, even protein pump inhibitors can create a low acid environment. So if you've got reflux and you're treating reflux and suppressing stomach acid, then that becomes a more conducive environment for Helicobacter pylori to proliferate and exist. And what it does, when it actually gets in a dominant state, it actually has these enzymes that actually keeps the acid levels down. And it's in that low acid levels that then it can get into the stomach, because it's renowned for causing ulcers, both duodenal ulcers or even gastric ulcers in the body of the stomach. Once it can keep the acid levels low, then it can actually get to the stomach, and then it starts eroding the stomach, causing the ulceration. So that's what it, I suppose, how it's more diagnosed is more when it gets to the ulcer stage and you get a lot of stomach pain that goes with it. Okay, so if you've got Helicobacter pylori and you're looking to treat it, the first port of call historically has been antibiotics, and there's a combination of different programs that they do use. They're generally leading into a combination of 2 or 3 different antibiotics with a protein pump inhibitor to try and have an attack at it. What we're seeing though over the longer term now is they're seeing such an increase in antibiotic resistance that they're becoming less and less effective in actually eradicating Helicobacter using that combination. They're trying lots of different permutations and increasing the number, of going to a 4 dose, I think some stuff I'm reading recently, with some long named antibiotics, which I won't disclose to you now, but if you do go down this path and are going to try the antibiotic, make sure you throw a probiotic in it. Really important to, the antibiotics can destroy obviously all bacteria through the whole system, but that's good and bad. So you want to make sure we've got a probiotic in there, a good probiotic supporting the microbiome and trying to get that microbiome running up as quickly as you can. Ideally, take the probiotic a week before you can if you can take it leading into, before you start the antibiotic course, and definitely continue it a week or so past stopping the antibiotics. So port 1 is antibiotics. A second thing, there's a good natural thing called mastic gum coming out of one of the Greek islands, which has been shown to be really quite effective in treating it. It's quite gentle on the stomach. It is generally a longer course. In the short course, not nearly as effective, but if once you get into a longer course, it does seem to be quite good at reducing Helicobacter pylori. So mastic gum is one thing. So stomach acid, we've talked about being the environment, so low stomach acid being an environment where Helicobacter can proliferate. So what we can do is support stomach acid, use things that are going to upregulate stomach acid. So common ones are your vitamins and minerals, and things like zinc and B6 are really critical in the stomach acid production. So you can support them with them and try and stimulate the acid levels up, and try and then create an unconducive environment for the Helicobacter to exist or proliferate in. Fourth option is vagal stimulation. So what vagal stimulation is the vagus nerve comes down from the neck and innervates the stomach and activates the juice and all the functions that happen in the stomach is driven by the vagus nerve. So there's certain things that you can do to stimulate vagus function, upregulate it, and try and upregulate what's happening within the stomach. And some of those common ones that we recommend is things like singing. Singing is really good, gargling is really good, and also cold therapy. So cold showers and the like are again another really good method of upregulating vagal stimulation, and even breathing, just really good deep rhythmic breathing is another way to upregulate vagal stimulation. Last but not least is apple cider vinegar. This kind of comes back in with the stomach acid, so it's really good at creating upregulating acid function in the gut, and again trying to create an unconducive environment for Helicobacter to proliferate or to continue to exist. Alright, there's quick 5 ways to get rid of Helicobacter. If you like the videos, please like it, please share if you can. Also get back onto us on through YouTube or through the channel that you're watching this on. If there's other information you'd like us to share, we love to help people, so the more directed direction we can get, the better we can be. Alright, thanks for now, see you next time.